this particular point on Wednesdays, though, we are pleased to be able to present Ask the Lawyer with Bruce L. Scheiner, brought to you by Associates in Bruce L. Scheiner. Bruce answers your legal questions. If you've never submitted a question before and you'd like to, I'll tell you how to go about that in just a moment as well. But first, would you please help me welcome attorney for the injured, Bruce L. Scheiner. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Todd. How are you doing this morning?
Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's another beautiful morning in Southwest Florida.
You are always such a ray of positivity. Every time I ask that question, I always expect and you always deliver a very positive response. You're just one of the most positive guys I know, quite frankly.
Well, how could you be anything else in this beautiful country we live in?
That's right, and this beautiful part of the country we live in, paradise, basically.
Exactly.
All right, well, it's not paradise for everybody because, unfortunately, if you've been injured due to nobody's fault, like your own, for example, then it's time to reach out to a professional and get some help so you can enjoy paradise again. I think that's kind of the thrust of the email that I received here, and I'd like to share with you now. You ready to weigh in?
I am ready.
Okay, here's what it says. My husband was riding his bicycle in Punta Gorda when a car made a right-hand turn at a red light. At the same time, my husband was crossing within the crosswalk with a light indicating he could go. The car struck him, and as a result, he was hospitalized with a compound fracture of his leg, which required surgery. The driver who struck my husband was not insured. We have high limits of bodily injury coverage on our vehicles, but our insurance agent told me we had no uninsured motorist coverage. I don't remember rejecting uninsured motorist coverage. Is there anything we can do? And see, this is a good example of somebody through no fault of his own, minding his own business, seemingly crossing when he was allowed to cross, ends up injured. Could you offer some words of wisdom, Bruce?
Well, this is a particularly strong example why it's so important to contact a personal injury lawyer right away.
Right.
Now, this victim tells us that they had high limits of insurance coverage.
Right.
But their agent said they had no uninsured motorist coverage. Well, Florida law is very pro-consumer regarding uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
In that the law says that in order not to have uninsured motorist coverage, you have to sign a form rejecting uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
So every case that we get when the insurance company tells us that there's no uninsured motorist coverage, we demand that they provide us with a copy of the rejection form.
Oh.
Now, you can't just tell your agent, "Hey, I don't want uninsured motorist coverage." You have to physically sign a form, check the box, "I do not want uninsured motorist coverage."
I see.
And there's many, many cases that we have where the insurance agent forgot or didn't get or wasn't applicable, but there was no signed form, and we were able to get coverage for our clients. Matter of fact, in a recent motorcycle accident case, and unfortunately, the motorcyclist was killed in the accident. The insurance company did not have a rejection, and we were able to get a very substantial settlement for our client because the insurance company could not produce the form.
I see. That's
so the whole key is contact the personal injury lawyer with a lot of experience with uninsured motorist claims, and he should request a copy of the form. And if they don't have a form waiving or rejecting uninsured motorist coverage, the insurance company has to provide uninsured motorist coverage equal to the limits of bodily injury liability insurance.
I see.
So a common amount that people purchase is $300,000 of bodily injury liability coverage.
Right.
So let's say this person had 3 vehicles with 300,000 of bodily injury liability insurance, and the insurance company could not produce the form,
right?
That person would be entitled to $300,000 for any one person of uninsured motorist coverage.
It makes a big difference, obviously.
Very big difference.
Yeah. You suppose that's just sort of a go-to excuse from the insurance companies? And I'm not really trying to say anything untoward about insurance companies, but you suppose just that's the knee-jerk, hey, you don't have uninsured motorist coverage, so you can't make a claim without first checking to see if there is a signed document.
Well, they just look at, they have a declaration sheet. So they look at the declaration sheet, and, if it says no coverage, then they just say no coverage. They don't bother to go through the file to see if they have it. Right.
So you really can't take it on face value is what I was getting at if your insurance company says that. That's why you need a professional to step in and find out what is really the story.
Exactly.
Bruce, I think this is terrific and potentially really good news for this gentleman, and I hope he has a speedy recovery after such a nasty accident. And once again, we do appreciate you sharing your 50 years of experience, and you really do make a difference when it comes to people who have been injured and possibly seeing a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel in situations like this. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, Todd. Thanks for letting me participate.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to talking to you again next week.
Okay, take care, Todd.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. And if you'd like to submit a question for future consideration, you can do so on our website. Just type Bruce into the keyword search box. Now, if you have something like this going on, you might not want to wait for an answer on the radio. In fact, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend that you call the Port Charlotte office of Associates and Bruce L. Scheiner immediately and ask for some help. 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. And tell them that Todd sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.